This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Nashay Taylor. A silver alert that was issued for a 73-year-old Minot man has been canceled. Authorities were looking for Sherman Leroy Sierra of Minot. He was found safely by local law enforcement officials after being reported missing earlier this evening. Flooding continues to be a problem in northwest Minnesota, especially for the residents in Middle River. Valley News team's Aaron Walling was in Marshall County to witness firsthand the power of Mother Nature.
The only way Robert Davidson can get to his neighbor's house is by boat. This is due to the flooding conditions in Middle River, Minnesota.
Yeah, it's 4 foot here.
The farmlands and roads in the area are completely swamped due to the dike breaking at the Agassiz National Wildlife Refuge.
Well, after the spring melt, I thought everything was going to be all right. Then it just kept coming up.
Davidson's neighbors, Kimmer Leon and Michael Mooney, are cut off from the road system because of the water. According to Leon, in her 13 years, this is the worst she's ever seen it.
I don't have flood insurance. They just said 6 months ago we were on a floodplain and said you should get it. Well, it was quite a bit of money added on to my insurance, and so it didn't happen. So yeah, we're dealing with what we have. Luckily, we still have our home.
Mooney is just thankful the home isn't flooded.
Very important. It's nice to know you got a home.
The couple says that they have some utilities available, but they have to cut back on using water.
Again, we're just getting by. We're roughing it. Can't do much more than that. Again, we don't have bathroom facilities, but we have power, TV, something to keep us occupied while all this is going on, and still just trying to smile through it.
Pennington and Marshall counties are facing some of the worst flooding since 1997. Eric Beidel, the director for emergency management in Pennington County, says this is impacting everyone, especially farmers.
I talk with a lot of farmers every day, and my heart really pours out to them, and I ask them to keep faith and find the good in this. But you know, the farmers aren't getting in their fields, and I understand the repercussions that has.
The hope now is residents can bounce back after being hit by these horrible flood waters. In Middle River, Minnesota, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
FEMA is expected to make their rounds on Tuesday through many counties as they begin to assess the damage. New tonight, a recalled dehumidifier caught on fire at a North Fargo home this afternoon. Fire crews were called just before 4 p.m. to a home located on 8th Street North near 12th Avenue North. Authorities say the caller reported heavy black smoke coming from the basement. When crews arrived, they found smoke coming from the floor up to the ceiling. Crews were able to put out the fire within 6 minutes. The Fargo Fire Department says the fire damage was limited to the dehumidifier and a water filtering system situated in the basement. Now, there were no injuries. Fire crews estimate replacing the belongings will cost about $10,000. They also say the type of dehumidifier was part of a 2013 recall due to being involved in numerous fires. For information about the brand of dehumidifier, visit our website and click on this story. New information on a fatal crash that took place Friday evening. The 65-year-old Drayton man that was killed in a head-on collision has been identified as Gregory Emmanuelson. The collision occurred just before 7:45 on Friday on Highway 66 near Drayton. Authorities say the man's vehicle had driven into the eastbound lane and collided head-on with another SUV. They also say Emmanuelson was not wearing a seatbelt at the time. The driver of the SUV, 24-year-old Gregory Hopp of Williston, was taken to a local hospital to be treated for serious injuries. And if you aren't already in the habit of wearing your seatbelt, you may want to click it or ticket. Increased patrols to catch unbelted motorists begins tomorrow. Data from the North Dakota Department of Transportation Highway Safety Division shows more people have died in motor vehicle crashes during warmer weather months, that's May through October, than cold weather months. The NDDOT reports that 43 of the 81 fatalities in 2021 were an instance where people were not wearing their seatbelt. Now, this was an increase of 4.8% from 2020. Starting tomorrow, contractors will begin working on concrete spot repairs within the city of Fargo. For 2 weeks, roads may be closed or shifted due to the repairs. Northbound and southbound lanes on 18th Street North will be closed to through traffic between 17th Avenue North and NDSU Research Park Drive. The northbound and southbound lanes on 18th Street between 14th Avenue North and 15th Avenue North will be shifted for 2 weeks. Now, the northbound lanes will be reduced to one lane on 10th Street between 14th Avenue and 15th Avenue for 2 weeks as well. President Joe Biden departed South Korea and arrived in Japan today, kicking off the second leg of his first trip to Asia since taking office. Mike Mamoli has more from Tokyo.
President Biden continuing to mind economic concerns at home while dealing with security challenges abroad. The president on Sunday closing out the South Korea leg of his trip, joined by the chairman of Hyundai, as the Korean automaker announces plans to expand their operations in the U.S. with a new $5.7 billion electric vehicle plant in Georgia. The president calling this a trend in his administration, saying manufacturing jobs are back in America. The president also joined by South Korea's president, visiting service members at Osan Air Force Base, where the U.S. and South Korea are preparing to expand their joint military exercises with an eye towards North Korea. The president telling reporters that he's not concerned about whether or not North Korea might launch a missile test during his time in Asia, saying that they're prepared for whatever North Korea might do. Now, the president has arrived in Tokyo, where on Monday he will meet with Japan's emperor as well as their prime minister. The president also preparing to announce what they're calling the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. This is an alliance of about a dozen democracies in the region, aimed both at countering China's economic influence, but also working together on issues like trade and dealing with supply chain challenges that have been the root of inflation and other economic concerns at home. Traveling with the president, Mike Mamoli.
President Joe Biden said today that recent cases of monkeypox that have been identified in Europe and the United States were something to be, quote, to be concerned about. In his first public comments on the disease, Biden added, "It is a concern in that if it were to spread, it would be consequential." White House officials say the United States has a supply of vaccine that is irrelevant to treating monkeypox. As of Friday, there were 80 confirmed cases worldwide, including at least 2 in the United States and another 50 suspected ones. One of those suspected cases is being investigated in Florida. Relief could soon come to thousands of families searching for baby formula as a shipment of 70,000 pounds of infant formula arrived in the U.S. today. Jen Sullivan has more.
A crippling shortage of baby formula nationwide has left many families desperate to find food for their infants.
It is scary. You're such a big boy.
Adriana Aya's son Cooper has a dairy allergy and says he can only eat Paramino, a prescription powder. But it's been nearly impossible to find in New York. Their story of desperation is just one of many across the country. But relief could soon be here. 70,000 pounds of infant formula arrived in Indianapolis Sunday from Germany.
This shipment provides enough formula to take care of 9,000 babies and 18,000 toddlers for a week.
From here, the Nestle Health Science formula will be distributed to hospitals, home health care facilities, doctors, and pharmacies where the need is greatest.
The children that need these formulas, there aren't any substitutions, there aren't any shortcuts.
So how did we get here? Abbott Nutrition, one of the nation's 4 largest formula producers, had to shut down in February due to bacteria contamination. They'll soon reopen, but by May, stores were reporting as much as 40% of baby formula products out of stock. Baby formula is highly regulated by the FDA, making it difficult to import from other countries. Those rules were relaxed Monday, making this weekend shipment possible. Meanwhile, on Long Island, families like the Ayas hope this brings some relief soon.
I think it's kind of a wait and see, because when it starts happening and it starts getting back on the shelves, I think that's when people are going to feel at ease.
Someone want a bottle?
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Later on Valley News Live at 10, a company is helping to fix a sustainability issue in the fast food industry. But up next, Nathan has more on when temperatures could get back into the 70s.